In 1976, the town of Holcomb Ridge, Pennsylvania, had a population of 2,000 people, one main street, and a single local legend: the man who made time stop. No one remembers when the clocks first began to fail. Some said it started on a Tuesday morning when the church bell struck 6 and never rang again. Others swore they noticed it weeks earlier, when their wristwatches began to lose seconds every day, as if time itself were slipping away from Holcomb Ridge. But everyone agrees that the real story began the day Elijah Turner disappeared. Elijah was the town's clockmaker, a quiet, polite man in his early 60s who lived above his workshop on Main Street. For decades, he repaired watches, wall clocks, and the massive iron timepiece that hung above the post office. He was meticulous, patient, and a little old-fashioned. People trusted him with their most delicate possessions. Then, on the morning of September 4th, 1976, the mailman found Elijah's shop unlocked. The doorbell still chimed when he entered, but the inside was silent. Every clock in the room, dozens of them, had frozen at precisely 3:44 a.m. The mailman called for Elijah, but there was no answer. The workbench was untouched, coffee mug half full, a pocket watch mid-repair. Upstairs, the bed was neatly made. There were no signs of a struggle, no footprints, no note. Only silence, and clocks that refused to tick. By that afternoon, strange things began to happen across town. The school bell stopped working. The power grid flickered. The town's water tower gauge jammed, showing pressure that didn't exist. And that evening, when the church tried to ring the bell for evening mass, it didn't move, not even an inch. The local police chief, Arthur Myers, led the investigation. He called it the most ordinary missing person case he'd ever seen, until he realized every photograph of Elijah taken in the past month had changed. In each picture, Elijah's watch, the one he always wore on his left wrist, was gone. In older photos, it was clearly visible. In the newest ones, there was just bare skin. Chief Myers ordered a search of Elijah's apartment. Behind a false panel in the workshop, they found a hidden room no one had ever seen before, lined with dozens of clocks unlike any the town had ever sold. Some were carved from brass, others from bone. None had numbers, only faint symbols etched around their faces. And every single one was stopped at 3:44 a.m. At first, the chief thought Elijah had gone mad. Maybe he was building something dangerous. But the deeper they looked, the stranger it became. They discovered journals, written in Elijah's neat handwriting, filled with diagrams and sketches of gears that looked like constellations. He wrote about a mechanism that measured not time, but memory, and claimed he was trying to build a clock that could turn back a moment, not the world, just one person. The last page was dated September 3rd. It read, "If I can find her again, the town will forgive the cost." No one ever figured out who her was. Some said his wife, who had died decades earlier. Others said a daughter lost in childbirth. But whatever he was trying to do, it had consequences. Over the next week, the clocks of Holcomb Ridge began to stop one by one. First at homes near his shop, then further out. Radios glitched, watches froze, and even the new electronic scoreboard at the high school froze on 3:44 during a football game. Then came the night the stars went still. Residents later reported that on September 10th, just after midnight, the sky above Holcomb Ridge seemed to pause. Clouds hung motionless. Not a sound in the air, no wind, no dogs, no insects. A local farmer, Jacob Reese, said his lantern light wouldn't move, as if trapped inside glass. It lasted exactly 60 seconds. When motion returned, every clock in town began ticking again, but backwards. By dawn, they were dead silent. State investigators arrived 2 days later and sealed Elijah's workshop. The federal agents who joined them removed the clocks, boxed the journals, and ordered everyone to stay away. None of the items were ever returned. Within a month, the government declared Elijah Turner deceased in absentia. The townspeople tried to move on. The power grid was repaired, new clocks installed, but they never worked quite right. Some would skip hours, others would run days ahead. No two clocks in Holcomb Ridge ever agreed again. Years passed. The shop was demolished, the lot paved over for parking. But in 1998, when construction crews dug foundations for a new building, they found a single brass pocket watch buried exactly where Elijah's bench once stood. The glass was cracked, but the hands moved. Slowly, backward. When technicians tried to open it, it shattered, revealing nothing but dust. That same night, for the first time in 22 years, every clock in town struck 3:44 a.m. simultaneously. The power cut out for 60 seconds, just as before. When the lights came back, no one spoke. But a few swore they heard the faint sound of gears turning somewhere deep underground, as if something beneath Holcomb Ridge had started again. Today, the town exists like any other. Tourists stop by, unaware that all the public clocks have been disconnected from power since 1976. They still set to 3:44 because the last time someone tried to fix them, the entire grid failed for exactly 1 minute. Locals say time doesn't move normally there. Watches run slow. Phones die early. And every few years, a new resident disappears. Always at night. Always near where Elijah's shop once stood. Some believe Elijah succeeded. That somewhere, he's still winding that impossible clock, trapped in a moment he refuses to leave. Others think Holcomb Ridge was never supposed to exist in the first place. A place caught between seconds, repeating the same lost minute forever. No one really knows. But if you ever find yourself driving through Pennsylvania and see a town sign that flickers, where all the clocks read 3:44, don't stop for gas. Just keep driving. Because in Holcomb Ridge, time only moves for those who don't look back. Would you visit a town where time stands still? Comment below and subscribe to Starlight for more stories the world tried to forget.